What's up, kings and queens? It's your boy Dan from Daft Previews. I've got 4 picks that I already put down. I'm going to take you through those today. If that sounds interesting, let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to you live from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.
Before we jump into the picks, we do have to recap the day that was. Whole lot of green in your screen because it was a pretty decent day. I'm going to have a drink to that, having a glass of scotch right now, and I will call out all bets, all analysis was done before any scotch was consumed, but a pretty good day. Went pretty light, if I'm being honest with you. Only had 6 bets down in total, 1.72 units profit overall. We got hooked on 2 different value plays, could have had a 45 plus unit day in VIP, but what can you do? We'll take the profit and keep building throughout this NBA playoffs. Happy with the reads though. First one, Kevin Porter Jr. over 18.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Finishes with 22 in a blowout loss. Hopefully this line stays the same so we can run it back in the next game. Dante DiVincenzo hit him for 16.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Still covers the line despite shooting poorly. He was 1 from 5 on threes today. The 4 that he did miss were wide open. The one that he makes, he shot it from the logo to beat the buzzer. Crazy. Hit the one value play in Kevin Porter Jr. at plus 400. So pretty decent day all around. Do have a little bit more volume for this upcoming slate. Like I said, a couple more straight picks. I've got 2 different sets of value plays as well. But there's still a few redemptions available for VIP. If you're interested, you can use the code Davion. You'll get 50% off the next 2 months. As an FYI, VIP is best for those who can create same-game parlays. And there's links for that down below in the video description. But if you want me to teach you everything I know about betting, you can join my SKOOL community. I think there's about 64 people in there already. The conversations are flowing. We have a coaching session coming up in 2 days. It's going to be awesome. I've completed all the modules I possibly could in terms of the basics, the fundamentals, which people are absolutely loving. So if you're interested, you can check that out too. That comes with a 7-day free trial as well. Now, enough about all that. Let's get into these picks, shall we? So jumping into Props Madness, the best tool you're going to find if you like betting on NBA player props. You've heard me say it time and time again. I encourage you guys to check it out. You get a 7-day free trial, 25% off if you use the code DARF when you sign up. I've also got 2 video tutorials on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out as well. So this first game, as you can see, like the first game in most slates these days, it's early as hell for me. It's at 3 a.m., Grizzlies versus Thunder. I do have 2 picks down that I'll share from that particular game. The rest of the games, they're at a more forgiving time for me. So 2 bets in this Grizzlies and the Thunder game. First one, could you even call this one a bet? Like, this is the most obvious play out there, and I'm taking it. It's Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to score 32.5 points, taking the over there for SGA. And it's a play that I've targeted a few times when he's played the Memphis Grizzlies. It's just perfect. Like, firstly, SGA is projected to play 38 minutes. I don't know if he does because there could be a blowout, 13-point spread here. But he does have an ideal matchup. You can see it down here. We can see here he scores in the pick and roll, gets to the free throw line, scores in transition, and that accounts for more than half of his points. And the Grizzlies are the perfect matchup for all of them. If you look at how he's performed against the Grizzlies this year, 35, 32, 41, and 37 points. He's done that playing only 32 minutes per game, averaging 36 points per game against the Memphis Grizzlies. They play up-tempo with a lot of pace. They don't try to stop anybody from scoring. They'll just try to outscore you. And I think SGA is going to be able to get a lot of easy buckets here against the Memphis Grizzlies. The one thing I'll call out as well, the Memphis Grizzlies, still missing Jalen Wells, who's out for the rest of this season, who is their best perimeter defender. So whoever SGA has on him, it's going to be easy work if you ask me. So the other thing I'll call out in terms of the blowout risk, yeah, it could happen, 13-point spread. But by looking at each of these games, the OKC Thunder won this every single game by 13 or more points anyway. So you could say that a lot of these were kind of blowout wins, and SGA still managed to cover this points line. So I'm rolling with SGA here over 32.5. Not too much research required for that one. It seems like a no-brainer, which is a little bit dangerous, but I'm rolling with it anyway. The other play I'm looking at is on the other side of the ball. Looking at Scottie Pippen Jr. today, over 10.5 points. And I never thought I would be saying that, but this is a plus money play first off. And you know how I feel about plus money. It gets me a little bit excited. So it's 10.5 points for Scottie Pippen Jr. The first thing I'll call out here is that he's projected to play 31 minutes. It's weird. Since the coaching change, he's been thrusted into the starting lineup, especially since Jalen Wells went down. And their lineup is quite small in the backcourt with Scottie Pippen Jr., Ja Morant, Desmond Bane's playing the 3. And I don't know how they're going to make it work against OKC with such a small lineup, but the new coach doesn't seem to trust anybody else on the bench. So Scottie Pippen Jr., projected to play 31 minutes, which is outrageous, but we're going to roll with it here. And I looked at games with Ja Morant where he plays at least 27 minutes, 27 to 31. And what's astonishing here is he's over this line in every single game where he plays ample game time with Ja Morant. If you remove Ja Morant, he's over this line in 20 out of 20 games when he plays 27 to 31 minutes. Like, yeah, the numbers look too good to be true, and I'd hate for this to cash and for me not to bet it. But the other thing I called out, I tried to factor in, like, what if there is a blowout? So I looked at games with the Memphis Grizzlies. They lost by more than 13 points. And even when they lost by more than 13, he obviously still covered in those. And he probably gets an extra run if anything happens to Ja Morant. Could get injured at any moment by the looks of things. But Scottie Pippen Jr. has also got a decent matchup. And the matchup here against OKC, like, no one has a good matchup against OKC, but they are vulnerable to spot-up shooting. When the shot clock runs down, there's a lot of swing passes. These three-pointers and spot-up shooting that they allow, it's not like they're wide open. They are contested, but they do allow a lot of points to spot up because they force teams to take them. Scottie Pippen Jr. does score 34% of his points as a spot-up shooter in this offense. This OKC team is very good at really shutting down the point of attack. And that's going to be Ja Morant. It's going to be Desmond Bane. It might be a little bit of Jaren Jackson Jr., but I see somebody like a Scottie Pippen Jr. being not left open, but they're going to let him take some points. They're going to force him to beat them, which I'm sure he's not going to. But I think he'll be out there long enough to score 10.5 points, like he's shown us in the past. He has had some difficult matchups as well. So just let me get this filter back up, and we can talk through the different matchups that he's had. Games where he plays more than 27, we can see some difficult matchups here. He scored 17 points against OKC. That's one. There was no Ja Morant in that game. But 17 points there. I'm going to flick through the defensive rating filter, and then you can really call out the best teams when it comes to defense. I've only had one sip of this thing, and I can't see anymore. Here it is, in defensive rating. All right, so tough matchup against OKC, covered. Tough matchup against the Clippers, he's still covered. Has had some tough matchups against the Warriors, and he's performed quite well. I don't like taking anyone to score against OKC, but at the same time, this Memphis Grizzlies team hasn't necessarily loaded the deck in terms of weak side and spot-up shooters. We do have Santi Aldama off the bench. He could be a good option as well, but I don't know. He's been a little bit hot and cold ever since the coaching change occurred. But I'm rolling with Scotty today. If he's going to play a lot of game time, he could get a couple of transition buckets, could make a couple of three-pointers. He's been shooting quite well. I know he's going to get the looks. That's the main thing here. So if we're talking about volume, I'd like to see Scottie Pippen Jr. take close to 10 shots in this game. And if he takes close to 10 shots, I'll live with the result. I'll happily take that bet 100 times in a row, and I think I'll be profitable by the end of it. So that's in that game. We've got the Magic with the Celtics, and I've got no bets in this Magic versus Celtics game. I've got a couple of leans, and I'll take you through them after, but nothing I'm willing to put my money on right now. Looking at the Heat versus the Cavs, and for this one, I feel like the line's pretty sharp for a lot of these starters, but where I think there is some value to be had is for Haywood Highsmith. And I'm liking his 10.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Looking at his PRA today. So for Haywood Highsmith, he's actually projected to play 28 minutes in this game. Key part of their rotation. They're pretty much running a 7-man rotation anyway. So Haywood Highsmith and Davion Mitchell, the two guys off the bench who are going to see ample minutes. And I'm liking Haywood Highsmith to produce something in this minutes that he's going to be seeing. What I did is I looked at games where he plays at least, because this is recent, where he's been moved into this part of the lineup in the rotation. But I looked at games where he plays between 20 and 34 minutes with Tyler Hero, with Bam Adebayo, and Andrew Wiggins. And we can see in terms of PRA, he's over this in 6 out of 8 games, averaging 15 points, rebounds, and assists. I like the matchup here against Cleveland, especially to score. So Haywood Highsmith, predominantly a corner 3 shooter, and the Cavs, they're below average in defending corner 3s. He scores 50% of his points as a spot-up shooter, and that is the only weak point you're going to find in this Cleveland Cavaliers defense. So I think he'll get some open looks here. It's up to him on whether he makes them or not, but I definitely think he can get some buckets. Breaking it down into rebounds, averaging 4.9 rebounds over this sample size of games. All of them are after the All-Star break where he's fit this rotation, averaging 4.9 boards. And in terms of his assists, with Hero and Bam and Wiggins, he's over his assist line in every single game. Now, I know he's not out there creating for others, but safe to say he probably has more reliable options around him. So I'm just rolling with a PRA. If you look at the games he's played against Cleveland this year, he's over in 2 out of 3 games. He's played between 24 and 27 minutes in all of those games. The game he went under is where he didn't score a point, covered his rebounds prop and had 1 assist, but that was early. That was last year in December. More recent games, he scored quite well, 12 and 13 points. But his points line's only at 5.5. So I didn't consider the points prop, but I think Haywood Highsmith has the opportunity to do a little bit of everything in this game. It is the playoffs, probably get more rebound opportunities as well. But provided he gets the minutes, I do like him to play to get the over 10.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And the last play that I have for you is the Warriors versus the Rockets. And I'm rolling with Jimmy Butler here. Playoff Jimmy has arrived, and Jimmy Butler in the playoffs is an absolute beast. We saw it towards the back end of the regular season. All of these games started to become must-win games, and then Jimmy just flipped the switch, and he's been an absolute beast ever since. And he's up against Houston Rockets today. It's a tough matchup, but Jimmy Butler's projected to play 40 minutes in this game. So I looked at games where he plays at least 37 minutes with Steph Curry in the lineup, and Jimmy's been a freak, 29.8 points per game when he sees close to 40 minutes. This is a very small sample size. It's 5 games, but these 5 games have been recent and since Jimmy's flipped the switch. Now, I will call out here that the Houston Rockets are a tough matchup. He's played them twice already this season. He's only averaging 16 points per game in 34 minutes per game. Volume was low. Minutes were a little bit low in these games as well. The matchup is tough. Like, I'm not going to lie about that. He's most likely going to be defended by Dillon Brooks, who's a strong defender. But what that means is the Houston Rockets aren't going to send any help. If anything, they're going to say to Jimmy Butler, go ahead, beat Dillon Brooks one-on-one. And not to say that he's going to do that time and time again, but I think that tends to lead to volume. And if Jimmy Butler's taken some volume, get into the free throw line, then I like his opportunities to score here. In this Warriors offense as well, Jimmy does score a ton of points cutting to the basket. He's often involved in a lot of screen plays with Steph Curry. Teams overreact on Steph Curry. Jimmy Butler gets wide open down the lane. So I like his opportunities as a cutter in this offense as well. But I'm not over concerned about the performances against Houston. His minutes were a little bit lower than what we expect to see today. A lot of these games didn't have too much on the line either. This is playoff Jimmy we're talking about. So he's built different, high minutes, and this Houston Rockets team is known for shutting down role players. Jimmy Butler is not. So I'm liking Jimmy Butler to score some points today. Over 21.5 points with Jimmy. Let's go. Now let me take you into the leans. A lot of the leans that I have, honestly, are in the Magic versus the Celtics game. I probably won't get a bet down for this game. It starts at 5:30 a.m. We've got both teams at full strength. The Celtics haven't played a game in over a week. They're clearly one of the best teams in the competition. 13.5 point spread here against Orlando. And a lot of the props here are going to be impacted by the game. Do we think Orlando can hang with them? Do we think the Celtics blow them out? And if they do blow them out, who gets the buckets? In the playoffs, a lot of these starters aren't going to see some time at all. We're going to save their legs. But the one person I did consider was Jason Tatum. And as much as I don't like him, he's got a great matchup here. I can't help it. This Orlando team is a perfect matchup for Jason Tatum. They give up points in the pick and roll. They allow a ton of points in isolation. They give up points at the free throw line, which pretty much fits the mold for Jason Tatum. He's played the Orlando Magic only once this season. What helps us is that this game had the Celtics were at full strength. The 27-point blowout win. Tatum plays 35 minutes, but he scored 30 points in it. Pretty much that's what I think could happen again today. The Celtics are at full strength. They could blow the Magic out. Based on the way that the Magic play defense, that turns Jason Tatum into a shooter. One game sample size. I don't want to overreact to it. All it takes here is Jaylen Brown having a big game. Porzingis could have a big game. Pritchard off the bench could have a big game. Derek White could make 6 3-pointers. And if any of those things happen, it might be very difficult for Jason Tatum to cover his points line. So, yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant to play it. I'd prefer in this type of series to let them play a game and then probably react to see what adjustments are going to be made, because I don't know what the game script is going to look like. I don't know if Orlando Magic keep it close. I don't know if the Celtics blow them out. I don't know what the hell is going to happen here. But the other person I considered is Sam Hauser. His points line is 5.5. He's projected to play like 16 minutes or something like that. So you'll see a lot of bench time. But at 5.5 or 4.5, you're really asking for 2 shots here for Sam Hauser, who's predominantly shooting from the 3-point line. And if you check to see how he's played against Orlando this season, 8 and 10 points. He had one game with nothing. So the matchup is not the best either. Orlando are good at limiting points to spot up shooters, but Sam Hauser, if he gets an extended run, it's going to be during a blowout anyway. The Magic aren't going to have their best defenders out there. So I could definitely see Sam Hauser getting 2 buckets late in the fourth quarter when it doesn't even matter. So that's one that I considered. And for the Orlando Magic, I considered Cole Anthony over 7.5 points. Now, Cole Anthony's projected to play about 19 points in this game. And part of the reason why I didn't take it is because when he sees 14 and 21 minutes this season with Franz and Banchero, his hit rate's a little bit, how you going? 4 out of 11 games, averaging 7.7 points per game. But the matchup here is a really good one against Boston. The only weak point in Boston's offense is they allow points to pick and roll ball handlers, which Cole Anthony is. So that's a plus. And he's performed well in the matchups against Boston, 10, 23, and 18 points. I will call out the 23 points, blowout loss where he plays 31 minutes, and the 18 points, 22 minutes, and a blowout win. So, and again, Boston wasn't at full strength in that game either, but he has performed against Boston in the past. I just think the sample size of data that I looked at wasn't very convincing. Cole Anthony just had a big game against the Atlanta Hawks as well. So I don't know if he can deliver on that back-to-back, but 7.5 seems quite low. He plays about 20 minutes, has a decent matchup here. He should see some volume. Can he make the shots? That I'm not too sure of. So yeah, in this particular series, I'm just going to wait to see. Probably just react to how games go. Game 2 for that series, I'll probably have a few bets down. But for game 1, I couldn't tell you. Looking through the Grizzlies and the Thunder to see if anything else stood out to me. I think one thing that stood out to me, Jaren Jackson Jr., 3-pointers. I'll just call that here. He's been on an amazing run. 12 out of his last 15 games, he's hit this line. It's a little bit juiced to the over, though. I will call that out, but I did speak about it earlier. OKC, a little bit vulnerable to 3-point shooters. Another one that I considered was obviously Zach Edey, getting some rebounds. 11.5 is the line. We know that the OKC team, not the strongest team when it comes to rebounding, but Zach Edey has struggled against him in the past, but he's playing a lot more minutes now than he was before. But if this is one-way traffic and it is a blowout, I don't know if Zach Edey could get there. So I'm a little bit hesitant around that. In the Heat versus the Cavs, a lot of these Cavs, I feel like their lines are pretty sharp. The one thing that got my attention was Evan Mobley. Don't mind his points and I don't mind his rebounds. He's rebounded extremely well against the Miami Heat in 2 games. This game, he only played 12 minutes, had 3 rebounds, but in the following 2, 31 and 36 minutes, 15 and 13 rebounds. Now, Miami not the strongest rebounding team out there, so Evan Mobley could definitely get it done. I also noticed that Jarrett Allen didn't rebound very well in these games either, so you could be looking at an Evan Mobley over in boards, a Jarrett Allen under in rebounds. If you wanted to parlay these things together, probably get about plus 200 for that. I considered DeAndre Hunter at 11.5, but he's not projected to play many minutes at all. Very similar to Ty Jerome. Ty Jerome, yeah, his recent form is fantastic, but he's going to see less minutes than what he has been seeing lately based on the projections. So I might check the projections in the morning before the game, see if I can get some extra plays down for this particular game. Davion Mitchell's been an absolute monster. He should get extra minutes. He should defend Donovan Mitchell, if anything. So he probably plays 30 to 35 minutes and he's producing extremely well. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've got for that one. And then for the Warriors versus the Rockets, this was a tough one. Like Jalen Green struggled against the Warriors all year. And then that last game where they absolutely pumped them, he finally breaks out of that, scoring 21 points. But I figured the games prior is probably what we should expect from Jalen Green in this matchup. So I did consider his under, but he'll probably play extra minutes today. Şengün has had some strong rebounding games against the Golden State Warriors. So I did consider his over in rebounds. But I also know that you've got to take a lot of the regular season form with a grain of salt. But they're the 2 leans that I had from the Houston Rockets side. And out of the Warriors, we spoke about Jimmy. Podziemski's had some 2 good games against the Houston Rockets. But this is the playoffs now. Does Podziemski continue to see this volume of shots? He took 14 and 17 shots in those games. I don't know if in the playoffs he sees that many. Like he had a good matchup against Memphis. Didn't take too many shots in that game. He was actually pretty poor, to be honest. So, yeah, the way that I see it, I've got quite a bit of volume down already. We don't want to force nothing. But I appreciate it if you made it this far into the video. I do wish you the absolute best of luck. Cheers to you and cheers to me. Let's go.
Sub to the channel cause your boy's getting busy. Coming to your line from the west side of Sydney. We've got the free picks and the juice on the daily. It's all free, you don't even have to pay me.